Welcome back to Cypress Sports Weekly. I'm Jeff Russell here with Mark Slevcove. Today we'll take some time to get to know our District Athletic Director, Mitch Olson, and get an update on our sports programs, including what's going on during winter break. Slev, what do we got?
All right. Winter sports in full action. Our boys basketball team continue their bit of a slow start, 3-7 on the season, but they did have a highlight last week. All the levels got to play at Staples Center. So that's always a fun experience for them. We beat La Habra in the Staples Center, so good victory there. This week, the boys take on Los Alamitos Tuesday night. Took them on at home, and then we got Cerritos also before we head off for winter break. Over winter break, too, like many teams, they're going to be playing in a tournament. They're going to be heading out to Rancho Mirage out in Palm Springs area for a tournament after Christmas, before the new year. Girls basketball didn't play last week. The Orange County Register, though, moved them up one spot to number 21 in their county rankings. This week, they play Fountain Valley on Thursday. And then over the holiday, they have two varsity tournaments, Marina, and then playing in a tournament at Edison as well. Boys soccer, Coach Freddie didn't hold any punches when he scheduled the number one team in CIF Division I in Servite last week. Servite showed that they were number one for a reason. We took the loss against them. And now this week, the boys have Marina, El Medina, and Yorba Linda 3 straight days. Girls soccer, Coach Nicole, too, she always schedules a tough preseason in preparation for our league and CIF competition. Played Los Alamitos last Friday night over at Los Al. Great crowd under the lights. We got an early lead, 1-0. Diana Leon with our goal. And we hung on until the last couple minutes. Los Al threatened throughout the course of the game, but couldn't put a goal in until the last few minutes when they got a PK and tied it up. So it ended up being a 1-1 ball game against Los Al. This week, girls play Foothill. They got Newport Harbor. And then Rosary on Saturday down at Saddleback College. So they get to play in the stadium down there where CIF just held the state championships for football. So that should be a pretty cool spot to play. Girls water polo went out to Esperanza. They lost 15-11. And now they take on another school in Placentia Yorba Linda District, Yorba Linda on Tuesday. And wrestling, of course, continue their busy schedule. This week, they open up league play, so they have a regular dual meet against Tustin Wednesday night. And they go through the battle of attrition in wrestling. They wrestle week in, week out, and you try to stay healthy and get better throughout the year. But certainly guys are going to go down throughout the year with some injuries. Physical nature of the sport.
Yeah, we're up and running in the winter. Just a reminder, all persons who are going to attend any events on the indoor stage, we have to wear masks indoors. The state is going back to that as well. It has been our district policy. CIF also has a rule. So per CIF, if we fail to wear masks, and that includes our spectators, if we don't follow the mask policy, it could result in a forfeit. So help us out, help our athletes out by following the rule and making sure everybody can be a part of the action. We appreciate that. Weather, always a big point this time of year, Coach. During the winter, during the early spring, what can we expect regarding possible changes, and where should we look for those updates?
Well, there's certainly going to be changes. We've already seen them this week. We have one day of rain, and we flipped some soccer games around, trying to go play on some turf fields so they can get the games in. Our fields, we're going to try to keep them as good as possible for as long as possible. So when rain comes, games will get moved to different days. They might get rescheduled. They may get canceled depending on availability of the other school, availability of officials. So we don't always have a choice of when we can make those up, if we can make them up. We keep a live document, though, on our school website under athletics. There's a weekly schedule that gets updated as the week goes on if there are any changes to our schedules because of weather.
Yeah, go onto our website under athletics. It should be right there for you to click on. If you can't find it, you can always email us as well, and we'll send you that link for you guys to get out and see those games. So hopefully we'll have a lot of people out over winter break, and we'll see you guys out on the fields. Well, today we welcome Mitch Olson, District Athletic Director for our Anaheim Union High School District. Coach Olson, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Mitch, let's get to the big stuff right off the bat. You went to LoSal, and apparently you were a pretty good athlete. We'll get to that later. You then coached at the school down the street. So you've pretty much surrounded Cypress, but you've never really been a part of our campus. So what gives? Why not Cypress?
You know, nothing against Cypress. It just happened that way, and it's funny because when I was in high school at Los Alamitos, we were in the Anaheim Union High School District, and Cypress was our rival. So, and then I just happened to pop over to Kennedy, and you've always kind of been in the middle, not in my way, but in the middle.
Yeah, you mentioned LoSal and Cypress, a rivalry. I think that still exists today. I mean, LoSal is so good at almost every sport, and we try to compete with them. And anytime we can beat them, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But we're also surrounded by Pacifica and, of course, Kennedy down the street. So we have lots of rivalries surrounding us.
Yeah.
What makes the Kennedy rivalry so special between Cypress and Kennedy, as you were part of it for a long time?
Yeah, I think it's from the kids' standpoint, they know each other so well. They play together in Little League. They play together in NJB, AYSO, all that. And what keeps it going, to be honest with you, is the parents. The parents are more into it than anybody. All the years that I was at Kennedy, one of my best friends to this day was the head football coach at Cypress that I met when we started playing each other, when I started coaching, John Selby. So we always got along. The kids get along all year except for that 1 week and the one game or the games during the seasons. But the parents kind of keep it going. It's bragging rights for the parents. And that's kind of what makes the rivalry what it is, I think.
Well, Coach, you were a three-sport star at LoSal. You had 7 varsity letters in sports of football, basketball, and baseball. Which sport was your first love, and which one do you enjoy watching now the most?
Well, without a doubt, my first love was basketball. I love basketball. I started playing when I was 9. But then as I got up, into junior high and high school, I started to favor more towards football and baseball. And basketball kind of fell in the middle. I kind of shortchanged basketball with my efforts. I did all the summer things, but I kind of let basketball become more of a fun thing for me. I had a great coach, Craig Conrad, and I just really enjoyed it. But I kind of steered towards football and baseball. And I enjoyed all of them. I even ran a couple of track meets, to be honest with you. I just love playing sports. I love my teammates. I love the coaches. I love the experiences that you got from it. So I would play anything. Kind of a funny one, when I was in junior college, I lettered in badminton because I just wanted to play a different sport. They needed some people. I went out, and I had one of the best times I ever had. So sports to me was just something I just wanted to do. I wanted to play all the time. I always wanted to work on it. And I just enjoyed my time playing sports tremendously.
So a running back in football, huh? You look today maybe a little more of a linebacker.
Today I'd be a defensive tackle. Are you kidding me? I played running back in high school and some DB. You know what? I played wherever they wanted me to. I just wanted to play.
Well, you must have been pretty good at running back. I think you had the single season record for a while, 2,400 yards career, or 2,400 yards in your career, 1,300 for a single season in 1977. I wasn't born yet, so that was way before my time.
I was really young. I graduated from high school at 12.
That's right.
I'm not as old as that seems.
It's been a while. What do you think's the biggest change in high school sports since you were in school?
Well, let me talk about the record. The reason that record's there is because they went to a passing team. When I was there, we only threw about 5 times a game. So you had to get the rushing record. That's all we did was rush the ball. There's been a lot better backs than me since we've been there. So that's why that record stood so long, is they throw the ball all the time. Now it's a totally different system. And that's probably the biggest thing about athletics today, is it's just become more year-round, more sophisticated in coaching, all the tools that are available to you. And then all of the kids that are getting coaching early from these different camps or clubs or so on. I think the level of competition when kids come in, especially a place like Cypress and La Salle, come in to high school, there's so much more adverse in the rules and the techniques and things than we were in the past. So, and then, it's just evolved so much, cutting edge things, different types of, basketball, different offenses and defenses. And it seemed like back in the old days, we just went out and played.
You mentioned basketball, and I hear you were just as good in basketball as you were in baseball and football. Empire League MVP, I believe, in baseball in 1979. You went on to play football at OCC and Whittier College, and then you played in the Finnish American League in Finland. How did that experience help you in deciding to continue with education and coaching?
Okay, that's a great question. When I went over to Finland to play and coach football, I went over there to coach. I was at Whittier College. I just got done. And I was able to spend about 5 months with a great head football coach, who was my head football coach, Hugh Mendez, at Whittier College. And so when you're over and playing in Europe, you like practice 3 times a week at 7:00 at night, and you play, one day on a weekend. So you have a lot of time to kill. Well, we really got into the X's and O's of football and coaching philosophy and culture. He was a master at creating a great culture, and you guys know as coaches, it's the culture you create, not the X's and O's. And so, man, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed coaching at Whittier, and I enjoyed coaching over in Europe. And I knew I wanted to teach and coach, but I really got the fever when I was over in Europe and learning and diving more into the nuts and bolts of it and creating the culture of a program.
That's pretty cool. You got mentors that you can look back to, and certainly now you've been a mentor for so many in Anaheim Union for a lot of years. You were Kennedy's coach for a long time. Then you headed to Georgia for a little bit, and then came back to Loera as their football coach. What was the deciding factor in leaving and returning to Anaheim Union?
Well, to be honest with you, I loved my time in Anaheim Union in the beginning. I loved my time at Kennedy. I liked the rivalries with the schools. Cypress, we played La Salle. I loved it. I think I was just looking for something different in my life and a different experience. When I had got out of high school, I had done a lot of traveling. I had lived in different places, Niagara Falls, New York, Appleton, Wisconsin, Sarasota. And I loved just seeing other cultures and then traveling to Europe. And I was in countries like, Austria and Finland and Switzerland and Germany, doing clinics and camps. So the experience of something new. And I was able to move out to Georgia and coach a high school team there, small town. There was 2 high schools. Each of them was 1,000 kids. And it was kind of the small town. You had 1,000 kids in the high school, yet you'd have 3,000, 3,500 at every game. So it was just a new experience. I was able to have a home on 5 acres of land. I had 11 goats, a couple dogs, and it's just something that growing up in California, you don't experience. Okay. When I decided to come back to California I kind of sat down and looked at my retirement, and I had put in a lot of years in California, and the Georgia retirement is not quite what it's like out here in California. So I was thinking, yeah, maybe I'll go back. I wasn't sure. Then I got a call from John Selby, who was at Loera, and said, hey, they're looking for a football coach. Would you be interested? Because I stopped coaching back there. I resigned, sat a year out. I didn't coach, and I was going to get back into it, go coach in middle school or something. I just like to coach. I don't care what level it's at. And, I kind of weighed the pros and cons, looked at the retirement, and so I decided to come back and have thoroughly enjoyed my time. It was a great decision I made coming back. Got to spend time with my family. Towards the end of my parents' life. And it's been a good decision. Love my time at Loera. Great kids, good people. Just like most of the schools in Anaheim. It's just a lot of fun.
It's hard to see you with 11 goats. That picture in my head it's got to be a funny time.
A lot of fun.
As the district AD, you been involved in some of the discussions with improvements in facilities and funding and the like for our district. What are some future plans that we have in the district for our schools?
Well, I think that the main thing, Jeff and Mark, is there's definitely a future, which we didn't have before, on building us the facilities that we need. How long it's going to take, we don't know. But before, it was kind of an afterthought. Now it's in the forefront of their thinking. And I think we're on the right path. We're starting to look at, taking another shot at another bond, trying to get it focused on facilities, VAPA and athletics, looking at, turfing our fields, possibly even building another stadium in our district and redoing a handle. So there's a lot in the works, but the main thing is that they're thinking about it now. It's something that we are going to do. How quickly we're able to do it is another thing. But that's the biggest thing that's changed and that I'm involved in is we're talking about it now and it's going to happen.
That's good to hear. Certainly facilities on campuses and in districts help retain and attract student athletes to our schools, and that helps our programs roll. Our student athletes, as an athletic director, what traits and leadership qualities do you think are most important for our athletes and our coaching staffs?
Yeah. Well, I think number one, this is anything new, is you have to lead by example. I mean, you can talk all you want, but if you are not, as Jimmy Johnson said, walking the walk, then nobody's going to follow you. So you have to lead by example, and leading by example means you do things right, you work hard, you're there on time, you're coachable, you're respectful, and not only with your athletic team, but on campus and in the community. Because when you become a part of a sport at Cypress High School, you're part of a community now, and you represent your high school, your teammates, your coaches out in the community and on campus. So I think, how you act and things are extremely important. And then you look at things like being trustworthy. If you're not trusted, then nobody's going to follow you. So, you have to, when you give your word, you stick with it. And it's something small like, hey, you're on time, be on time when time is involved. I always used to hear from my dad, you better be an hour early than a minute late. So things like that, because people, they may not hear what you say, but they see what you do all the time. So to be a good leader, first and foremost, that's what you need to start with. The other thing too is I think you need to be a leader that doesn't point a finger at somebody. Things can't be you. They have to be we. And you are part of the problem and you're a part of the success. And I think a lot of kids today, they get frustrated at kids and they single them out. They point fingers at them instead of, hey, we need to do better, guys. We need to act right. We need to, listen to coach. We need to pay attention. If you can't be that kind of person, you're never really going to be the kind of leader that you could be.
Very cool. Well, this is the time in the show that we do some rapid fire questions. Don't think a lot about them. Just kind of whatever comes to your mind. And
can I interrupt you for one second? These are much better questions than Dave Jankowski gave me a week ago. So you guys are really doing a great job.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
I don't think about too much anyway, so this isn't going to be a problem for me.
Perfect. All right. Well, you kind of mentioned some, but here we go. Favorite sports quote?
The best individuals don't make the best team makes the best team. Mike Ditka.
Nice. Better feeling, scoring a touchdown or coaching your first win?
I'll coach my first win by no doubt.
Chops and Hops in Watkinsville or Ruth Chris Steakhouse?
Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Okay, that's pretty good.
I do my homework, Coach. What do you miss most about Georgia?
The open land, the green, walking my dogs without a leash. No.
Not the summers, though.
No, don't miss the summers. There's no doubt about that.
All right, you gotta make your first pick. Who's your first pick? Raymond McKnight or Zach Mettenberger?
Garrett Sable.
Oh, there you go. All right. I like that. Tacos from California or fried chicken from Georgia?
Tacos from California any day.
Coach, what is a grit?
A grit is like an oatmeal, cream of wheat type of oat, and they're not great unless you're from Georgia, but they can be doctored up with all kinds of things that make them edible.
So you've eaten one.
Oh, I've eaten a lot of them
Oof.
and have not liked most of them, but if you go to the right place, they can be pretty decent.
All right, last question, most important. Would you wear a Cypress blue and orange shirt?
Without a doubt. I represent this district and all the schools in it. In fact, I would have one on right now, but you guys haven't given me one.
One's in the mail.
I would appreciate it.
You got it. Well, Coach, thanks again for being today's guest. We appreciate you being on. We're going to be off for the next 2 weeks for winter break. We'll see everybody when we get back in January. Thanks for watching and have a great holiday.
Yeah, happy holiday, everybody. Thanks for having me.